Now, in our last video, we looked at how to find the surface area of a prism. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to find the surface area of a cylinder. Now, a cylinder is very, very similar to a prism. It has a lot of the same properties, and it's essentially a prism with circular bases. It's not technically a prism, but it has a lot of the same properties. So it's like a prism with circular bases. Now, to find the surface area, we need both the height and radius of the bases. The reason for this is because since this is basically a prism with circular bases, we can follow the same formula with a couple of tweaks. So recall that the formula for lateral surface area of a prism was the perimeter times the height. Well, kind of the same thing as perimeter in a circle is called the circumference. So we can do the same thing and just say circumference times the height. Well, the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. And we still have to multiply by the height, so we put that at the end. So our lateral surface area is 2 pi r height. If we were to look at this example on the right side, I could find my lateral surface area by saying 2 pi r height. And all I have to do from here, I don't have to find anything first. I don't have to find my perimeter or my area of my base first. I just have to plug in those two numbers, and then it'll give me my lateral surface area. So if I plug these numbers in, I get 2 pi times the radius, which is 9, times the height, which is 7. And if I plug that into my calculator, I should get about, 2 times pi times 9 times 7. We get about 395.84. That's in centimeters squared, because it's still surface area, and surface area is always squared. If I was to find my total surface area, I need to add on the area of the bases. I found the area of the part around the shape. Now I need to find the area of the bases and add that on. So my total surface area is the lateral 2 pi r height plus 2 pi radius squared. The way I get 2 pi radius squared is because, well, there's two bases, the top and the bottom, and the area of a circle is pi radius squared. So if I was to find my total surface area, I would need to take my lateral 2 pi r height plus my area of my bases 2 pi r squared, and we should get our answer. We already found our lateral, which is 395.84. But we still need to find our total. So that's 2 pi times 9 squared. So our total surface area is 395.84 plus about 508.93. When I combine that, my total is 904.77 centimeters squared. And this first number we already found is our lateral. The second number is the area of our two bases, and combined we get the total. So typically what you're going to see, you're not going to see all of these problems split up and say, okay, this is a cylinder, okay, this is a prism. It's going to mix them all together, and it's going to have to rely on you to figure out which formula to use. So these two are mixed together. So if we look at our first example, we want to think, what kind of shape is this? This is a prism, so we're going to use the prism formula. With a surface area, let's find the total, is the perimeter times the height plus 2 times area of the base. Our perimeter is something we need to find, and our base area is something we need to find. Now, this side is 4 and this side is 4, which tells us that this is a square. So the perimeter is all 4 of these 4s added together. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 16. Our area of our base, since it's a square, is just 4 times 4, length times width, which happens to be 16. Now, it's not always going to be like that, but it is in this problem. So you're going to still do it by adding and multiplying, depending on whether you're doing perimeter or base area. So we have our perimeter of 16. We plug that in. Our height is 2 plus 2 times area of the base, which is 16. Sixteen times 2 is 32. That's our lateral surface area. 2 times 16 is 32 again. That's the area of our two bases. And combined, our total surface area is 64 kilometers squared. Now, our next example is a cylinder. And you'll notice that this cylinder is turned on its side. That's okay. We still can use the same formula. So the surface area equals 2 pi radius times the height plus 2 pi radius squared. Plug in everything we know. 2 times pi times our radius. And here's where it kind of gets tricky. Remember, radius is always with the circle. So our radius is 8. And our height is 7. The height is the distance between the bases. Even though it's sideways, the height is always the distance between the bases. The way you can think about it is if you lay down on your side, or if you're laying down in bed, you're laying flat, but you're still somewhere 5 to 6 to 7 feet tall, however tall you are. Your height does not change just because you're laying down. It's still the height. So 2 times pi times 8 times 7 plus 2 times pi times the radius 7 squared. If we plug this straight into the calculator, that will give us our answer, where the surface area is about 753.98 miles squared. Now I'm going to give you all a second to find the areas of these two shapes below. Try to do these on your own. Pause the video, and in a second I'll give you the answers. So on question 3, we should have found that our perimeter was 12. 3 plus 4 plus 5 gives us a perimeter of 12. Our area of our base, remember this is a triangular prism, So our base area is 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times 3 times 4, which is 6. Once you have those numbers, you can plug them into your equation. Perimeter times height plus 2 times area of the base. And we should get the same, or we should get a reasonable answer of the surface area is 24 meters squared. Remember your formula, make sure you go back and look at that if you got the incorrect answer. On question 4, this is a cylinder, so we need to have the radius and the height. We already have the height, which is 11 feet, and we're not given our radius, so this is where most people mess up, if you mess up. This 10 feet right here is our diameter, so our radius is 5 feet. So to find our surface area, we need to plug in our radius, not our diameter. If you plug in the radius, if you plug in the diameter, you're gonna get the wrong answer. And if you plugged it in correctly, you should have gotten this answer. Surface area equals about 502.65 feet squared. If you got both of those correct, you're on the right track. Keep it going. Do your practice assignment. If you didn't, look at the 2 examples I did before. Try and figure out how I did those and try these again. That's all I have for today. Next time, we'll be looking at surface area of pyramids, cones, and spheres.